Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Star Wars Guys YouTube channel where the Force is family. I am Master Paul, and joining me once again is my special guest.
Golgo 13 of Golgo 13's Anime 101.
And we are continuing once again our series of talking about all of the episodes for Star Wars Visions. And the one that we have on the docket today is The Ninth Jedi. And this is one that I am constantly indecisive on between this one and the Elder as to which one is my favorite, because this one is, I believe it's one of the best in this whole series as far as what they introduce idea wise to the Star Wars universe, animation wise. Like, literally everything about this episode to me is just spot on. So what's this episode about? Well, surprisingly, this is another episode set in the sequel trilogy era, specifically after episode 9. And they introduce this idea that now there is a sabersmith. It's his job to do nothing but make lightsabers. And he's making lightsabers for this one ruler of a planet that apparently is a Jedi. And he has summoned different other less experienced Jedi that never, for whatever reason, finished their training, and he's calling them all together to rebuild once again the Jedi Order. And the story follows the sabersmith's daughter, who herself is very good with a lightsaber. But one of the very interesting things that they introduce in this episode is the idea that a lightsaber's color is different depending on the person who uses it. So, say for example, I pick up, under these rules, I pick up a lightsaber and turn it on. It would be green for me, but then Brandon picks up the same lightsaber, turns it on, it could be blue for him. So, a very interesting mechanic that sets up a twist ending in this episode perfectly, where all but, I want to say, one of the unfinished Jedi that meet up with this leader, they all pick up the lightsabers and they turn out to be red, that they were Sith in disguise sent to kill this leader and any Jedi that happened to show up. Though, of course, they do lose with the help of the Sabersmith's daughter, who, for most of the episode, her lightsaber doesn't have a color at all. And it would also vary in length until the very end when she truly taps into the Force and her lightsaber turns green. So, very interesting premise that I could legitimately see being introduced into the actual Star Wars canon, the idea of a lightsaber blade looking different depending on the person who uses it. And yeah, just overall, I really like this episode.
Yes, this is a great one. This particular episode was created by Production IG. They're the art house that did and still does Ghosts in the Shell, one of the
Right.
most influential animes and manga in existence. So they have the pedigree of making things spectacular, so they know what they're doing. As far as the story
Mhm.
goes, yeah, with it being set after the rise of Skywalker, you know, sequel trilogy stuff, not necessarily my bag, but at the same time, we don't know how far in the future this actually is. So this could be set decades later, hundreds of years later, where the ability for a Padawan to create their own lightsaber, that knowledge is gone. Now, people still have the connections to the Force, and it's obvious that there are other Sith that have risen, or these people have figured out and follow the Sith teachings, whether it be directly from a master or however they decide to do it, who want and need a lightsaber because they can't construct one on their own. The name
Right.
of the ruler of the planet is Margrave Juro, and
Hmm.
he lives in the High Islan Aerial Temple. Now, this particular person is nowhere to be seen at first when they all arrive. But once they get there, a droid comes out and says, "Patience, time is coming." Well, later on, we find out that it was actually Margrave Joro in the shell of the droid. So he was literally
Yeah.
the ghost in the shell.
I see what you did
That
there.
that basically, he is a Jedi master, or he's got such a strong enough connection to the Force, and is a light side person that he has the perception part going with the connection to the Force, knowing who had shown up, and that's why he was wanting to wait and be patient about it. But the
Right.
idea of a sabersmith is not uncommon. I guess there are other things within
No?
legends, at least, about smithies that create weapons, and it's no different than in Japanese culture having a swordsmith to create the sword of the samurai for the shogun and all of their warriors. So that's everything about this fits perfectly in line with traditional Japanese culture as far as the weaponsmith creating, the passing down of what to your children, and yeah, uh, the character of Kara, she has a natural affinity for the Force, as was mentioned just a bit ago with these sabers. The way that they're designed, if you're a wielder of the saber, the kyber crystal and the saber can tell how you are if you give in to your feelings and turn to the dark side, hence the red saber, or
Mm-hmm.
if you don't, and you either get green or blue, the traditional Jedi consular or sentinel colors. But with
Right.
her, it's clear because she's still young, she's still learning. She knows of the Force, she can feel it and she can tap into it, but she does it more instinctively as opposed to being fully trained. But throughout the
Right.
course of this show, the situation forces her to reach out and to basically to try or try not. There is no try. She just does it. She
Mm-hmm.
basically takes that unwritten rule of Master Yoda to heart, and she eventually ends up where her saber, when she first tries to use it, the size of it adjusts because she can't control it yet. But eventually, she gets it to the point where she can control it, gets it to the size that she needs to match her body size and body type, and then at the very end, it does change to a color that suits her and her personality and her goals.
Right.
And then, of course,
And
a nice battle, lightsaber battle, and it's still PG, so it doesn't get too bad. But production IG does show uh, cutting in half and then half the body falling off. No blood spurting, but definitely stuff more along the lines of what they're
right.
used to doing.
And of course, with it being a lightsaber, lightsabers cauterize wounds, so there wouldn't be
Yeah,
blood spurting even if this wasn't a Disney product. And
yeah,
what you
and
mentioned about
mhm.
the sabersmith being something that's not as uncommon as we would think, another great example that we have is Savi's workshop at Galaxy's Edge, both at Disneyland and Disney World, the place that Michael and I went to when we went to Florida, and we built our lightsabers there. And that, you know, they showed it differently here in this episode, but the way that they showed it in Savi's workshop is very reminiscent of what you said, where there's this one person that builds lightsabers for all of the samurai or the
Obtain
shoguns
the
of the
knowledge.
area.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, what would you give this one for a ranking?
Oh, this one is so good. On the Star Wars side, this to me is a 4.5. Sequel trilogy or not, it doesn't matter. It's far enough removed from that, and it doesn't play in the same rule book as, let's say, the episode from Studio Trigger, the twins did. They don't
Right.
they don't do that. They're much more traditional in their approach, much more traditional in their lightsabers. They're traditional cylinder shaped or rounded shaped as opposed to katana.
Mm-hmm.
So on the Star Wars side, yeah, 4.5 easily. On the anime side, the look, the feel, the everything about this oozes production IG. This was perfect for them. Plus, it helped that they were given a longer runtime. This is a 23-minute episode. So it
Yeah.
had a little more room to play with everything and to expound upon a few things and to build up that tension of will the lightsabers be delivered? Will she, won't she? And then once they do, then that's when everything busts loose and the Sith reveal themselves, and And basically, this Master Jedi, Margrave Juro, he doesn't hesitate to lay waste to those that need to. And there's one other person there that's part of him that isn't a Sith, who is an actual light side user, or a light
Hmm.
side person, a good person, who, when everything happened, he more or less freaks out. But once he gets the saber, gets that feel, he gets the encouragement necessary to help defend themselves and to help Margrave and Kara win the day.
Not to mention there was one that was a double agent.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one that was a double agent. Unfortunately, he didn't get sliced in half, so he's safe. He's good.
No,
But
right.
this is one of those things that they need to make more of. They need to make a whole series of it, because it would
Agreed.
be it would be spectacular to have that done. So, anime side, yeah, 4.5, if not a 5.
Okay. For me, ranking wise, I'm gonna agree on that 4.5 on the Star Wars side, which is really all that I know. Spot on in every which way possible. So
Yeah,
with
it was
that,
a
we're
lot
gonna
of
go ahead.
fun. Both the Japanese language and the dub were done very well. So with some of these, the English dub is a little rough. With this one, not the case. It was very well done.
Yeah, I agree. So again, we're gonna go ahead and end this video. So make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to Golgo 13's Anime 101. And just remember, everyone, the Force is family. See you
The
guys
Force is
later.
family.